Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to ALSA Malaysia's Legal Webinar Special Series Episode 2. So currently it is about 2:17 p.m. Good evening to all, wherever you may be participating from. This is only our second episode, but we are proud to say that we reach maximum capacity. Hence, it will soon be viewable on other platforms. My name is Megan, and I'm the Director of External Affairs and Development in ALSA. And on behalf of ALSA Malaysia, I will be your moderator for today. And we would first like to extend our gratitude to Mr. Eddie Law for his time today. This webinar is brought to you by ALSA Malaysia, collaborating with eLawyer. So, as law pursuing students, one is often told of the wide avenue of opportunities a law degree can offer. However, with the absence of verification on the information advised towards us, ALSA Malaysia thought this session with our esteemed guest, Mr. Eddie Law, would benefit us all in achieving clarity on what is known versus what is speculated or even exaggerated. eLawyer is a recruitment firm focused on law-related industries in the region. So, their online service goes further to CV building, bridging the gap between students and legal companies. Hence the topic today. What can you do with a law degree? Career options for law graduates. Now, without further delay, we once again thank Mr. Eddie Law and let us welcome his presentation today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being together here. I'm very honored to have this privilege to do this FB Live and also webinar to share the insight that I gained as a lawyer and also as a legal recruitment consultant over the past decade. So let me share my screen first. Okay. I think Megan, you had to unshare your screen, then only I can share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Anthony is in the middle of doing.
Okay, so I guess you guys can see my screen. Megan, can you see my screen? Okay, so
yes.
Today my topic is.
See your screen.
Okay, thanks. Today my topic is very relevant to all the law students and law grads.
Mr. Eddie, you may proceed.
Okay. So today my topic is relevant to law students, law grads, or even a young lawyer, because you know we study so hard to earn a law degree, but what can we do with a law degree? So today I hope during these sessions we can be more interactive. You can ask questions and I'll answer you along the line. And we also have a Q&A session at the end of the talk. Okay. So we will talk about the overview on the legal landscape of the legal career market in Malaysia. We will also talk about career options, and we will also talk about then at the end I'll do a conclusions. Okay. Yeah, not sure my screen is not functioning. So sorry, guys. Give me a minute. Let me just unshare my screen. Okay, let me share it back again. Okay. Okay, so first I want to ask the questions. How many lawyers are in Malaysia market? And are we having more and more law grads? Or is there more and more law related jobs? So this is a statistic that I get. You can see that. You can see these are the amount of law school that we have in our region. And you can see the most law school we have is in Philippines. And Malaysia, we have 15 law school. And this is the population of qualified lawyer in different market. So in Malaysia, we have 19,825 lawyers, which about 20,000 lawyers. And you can see the largest amount of lawyer is actually in Thailand. Thailand has 72,000 lawyers. And this is a ratio. This is a ratio for population of the country against the ratio of the lawyer. So in Malaysia, our ratio is about 16,000 citizens per lawyer. And you can see in some countries like Indonesia, Myanmar, Vietnam, the amount of the ratio is even bigger. They have like maybe 4,000 citizens to one lawyer. Okay. So in my personal observation over the years, I feel that in comparatively Malaysia market, Malaysia legal market is a more close profession, whereby we have more stringent regulation to control the admission of foreign lawyer. So our legal career or legal profession is compared to Singapore or Hong Kong or even China, we are more restrictive. We are in a more restrictive environment. Second, in Malaysia market, we tend to have lesser regional role because of the policy that the government in place. So many multimedia companies or many foreign companies, when they decide to come into this region, usually they would pick, sadly to say, they're not from Malaysia, they'll pick Singapore or Hong Kong as their regional hub. So they will set up they will hire their lawyer, in-house lawyer to work in their regional hub because of the incentive or some policy that given at that country. The third point I want to share is Malaysia legal market or employment market is more pro-employee, whereby you will, it's hard, it's easy to hire here, but it's hard to fire, so-called. So whereas if you compare to Singapore or Hong Kong, the employer can terminate an employee just by giving notice. So by Malaysia, you can't just terminate someone by giving a person notice. You have to dismiss them with valid ground and going through and following certain employment law. The last one is I think in terms of fees, Malaysia market commands the lesser fee as compared to other regions, like Indonesia, Thailand. Most of them are charging USD. So the lower fees in our country for law firm, it may translate to a lower salary in the region. Yeah, so this is my personal observations. Okay. So after you has graduated and you wanted to look for a job, these are the places that you can get, you can find jobs. There are job listing there. First is on our website. Then you can go to JobStreet, or you can go to Bar Council website or KL Bar website. You can go to LinkedIn and other job portal. So this is just a glance of when you're looking for a job, where can you turn to? Okay, so what are my career options with a law degree or as a young lawyer? Personally, I think there are three types of legal related job. First is lawyer. To me, I'll call it lawyering in a law firm. Second is lawyering in a non-law firm. And third is non-lawyering job, but still related to the legal industry. I'll go in one by one to explain what do I mean. So first type, lawyering in law firm, as the word self-explained. So people who work or qualify and work in a law firm, we call them private practitioner. So they are qualified lawyer working in a law firm, either as a legal assistant or associate, or as a sole proprietor or as a partner of the firm. So do you know how many bars in Malaysia? This bar is not the bar that I show in the image. We are talking about the bars of lawyers. So we actually had three separate bar in Malaysia. This one is the Bar Council that we're familiar with, that governed all the practitioners in Peninsular Malaysia. So when it comes to Sabah and Sarawak, they had their own bar associations. Okay. And why not you do a guess? Is there more female lawyers or there are more male lawyers in the market?
So for those that are interested in answering Mr. Eddie's question, you may raise your hand using the raise hand icon. So I may call you out and you can unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Is there anyone?
Okay, never mind. I just go on. Or you can type your answer in the chat box. Then make it more interactive. Yeah, you can type your answer in the chat box. Yeah. Okay, in fact, based on Bar Council websites, based on Bar Council statistics, there are more female lawyers in Malaysia than male lawyers. And do you know how many lawyers in Malaysia? So this is the statistic from the 10-year statistic showing the number of lawyers, number of practitioners. So I'll use the word practitioner just to differentiate from non-practitioner. Your lawyer is a general term. Yeah. So we have almost 20,000 practitioners in Malaysia. And you can see the number is rising. And how many law firms are there in Malaysia? So we have 20,000 practitioners. And these 20,000 practitioners are practicing in how many law firms? And how many foreign firms we have in Malaysia? Okay, this is the statistic. We have more than 6,000 law firms at the moment in Malaysia. And you can see the number of law firms is also in the rise. over the past 10 years. And this statistics also show you lawyer with 1 to 5 years, how many lawyers is there? Lawyer with the post-qualification experience, so this statistics also show you law firm with 1 to 5 lawyers, 6 to 30 lawyers, and 30 lawyers above, how many are they in the market? You can see law firm with more than 30 lawyers are very, very little. It consists very, very little, yeah. And this is a breakdown of the years of practice. So lawyer, junior lawyer or lawyer who has less than 7 years of practice experience, there are 6,913. And mid-tier lawyer, call it 7 to 12 years, they have 3,000 plus. And senior lawyer, more than 12 year experience, they are 8,000 plus. So at one glance, you can see the range of lawyer and their breakdowns, the amount. So what does this statistic tell us? First, I would say for the past 5 years, the growth of law firms and number of lawyers is identical, is similar. It's about 24%, and it's about 4.5% growth every year. And second observation that I have is the ratio of lawyer per citizen is getting smaller. So in 2015, 1,900 citizens against 1 lawyer. But now we had, in this year, 1,683 citizens per lawyer that we have in this country. So this also shows that the market is more competitive, lesser, and based on just now the statistic that you can see, some countries have 4,000 or 5,000 citizens against 1 lawyer. So in that market, it wasn't as competitive as Malaysia. So that's why recently there are many Malaysian lawyers also work in places like Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, because those countries are open up and developing, and they need more talent to come in. And the third observation I have is number of large law firms did not change much over the past 10 years. So in 2011, we had 26 so-called large law firms, and today we only had 33. And I can see that there's trend about merging of firms. Firms are merging to stay more competitive. This is something common that I see in this recent year. And the last observation is mid-level practitioners are the smallest group in all times. So lawyer, about 5 years to 12 years or 10 years, these are the group that are the smallest group. Because I think many lawyers, when they work after 3 years or 5 years, or even 7 years, they'll start thinking whether I want to continue to practice or I want to switch my career to being an in-house lawyer or go to do something else. So this is a period that many lawyers will start thinking about their career switch or their career change. So I'll call it 5 years or 3 years hurdle for a lawyer to stay. Okay, we are good. Okay, let's move on. So how do you categorize a law firm? So when you are choosing a law firm, first you can see there are 2 foreign law firms in Malaysia. You can first ask yourself whether I want to work in local firm or I want to work in foreign firm. So for local firms, there are many, and At the moment, we have two foreign law firms. These are the two foreign law firms in Malaysia. And second question you could ask yourself when you want to choose a law firm, do I want to join a sole proprietor firm? Do I want to join a small firm? Do I want to join a mid-tier firm? Or do I want to join a large law firm? So to me, I personally categorize large firm as firm that more than 50 lawyers, and mid-tier firm would be 10 to 49 lawyers, and so on. Or you could also look at another angle, whether you want to join a firm with foreign affiliation or with international affiliation. So these are the five firms. These are the five firms that I know that they have a foreign affiliation. Like Wong and Partners is affiliated to Baker McKenzie. Yeah. Another angle to look at it is when you want to choose a law firm to go for, you can also ask yourself whether I want to venture and specialize in certain area of practice. So we call this firm called boutique law firm. The whole firm's only focusing and specializing in one area of practice. So like Belden, it's specializing in construction dispute. Wunjini and Teo is specializing in IP practice. Thomas Phillips only doing litigation. Wombe and Teo, they are very famous, or they are reputable for corporate finance work. Or if you want to do shipping work, then you can try a shipping firm called Rahayu and Partners. So these are the example of some boutique firm that you can go for, if you want to specialize in certain area of practice. When you come to think about the area of practice, these are some common area of practice I have sort of categorized it. First one would be dispute resolution, where you will be asked to go to court, or you'll be asked to attend arbitration hearing. So these are the dispute between parties. Or if you think, oh, you know, I don't like to attend court, I want to stay in the office doing most paperwork, then you can choose other area of practice that may not require you to go to court. So this is some example of area of practice that you can look at. And if you want to know which law firm is being recognized or acknowledged to be good in which area of practice, you can visit legal500.com, and you can go to Malaysia chapter, and it will list down the firm that have the firm that reputable for certain area of work. So this is only this is for your reference only. So you can go to Legal 500 to have a sense of which firm is doing a lot of this kind of work. Okay, so this is a career path in private practice. You will start as a pupil. We call it 9-month pupillage, champering. Usually you call it champering. They'll be called to the bar. So after called to the bar, your position title could be legal assistant or associate. So a lot of people have some misunderstanding. They thought a legal assistant is assisting the lawyer, but actually legal assistant is the position title for lawyers. Or some firm, they call it associates. Then after about 3 to 5 years, you'll be promoted as a senior LA, usually you call it LA, or senior associates. Then your next career path will be salary partner and equity partner. So after that, if you still enjoy your work after 20 years, well, you may talk to a firm, say, hey, can I attach with you as a consultant? So this is the typical career path for a practitioner. Megan, is it okay? Am I going too fast?
No, it's perfect, and everyone is asking their questions. So
okay, good. You
feel
help
free
me to
to
monitor.
continue.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is some salary survey that we have. You can see the salary for pupil allowance for first year lawyer in different regions in Malaysia, and their initial annual increment. So just to give you some idea as to, in case you want to know how much a lawyer is earning. And this is the survey, sorry, the year should be 2000 this year. So this is a survey for lawyer that in Klang Valley. So yeah, the figure is right, just the date is not right. So I apologize for that, yeah. So like KL lawyer or pupil, KL pupil is earning about, I give a wide range, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 or 3,005. First year, they are earning about, I also give a wide range, 3,500. I still heard firm paying 3,500, or some firm even paying, with the front loop bonus, is even 6,000. So it's a very wide range. Yeah. Okay, so I hope this can give you some idea of the salary. So just now we were talking about lawyering in law firm practice. So you can either choose to attach to a law firm as a legal associate or legal assistant, or you can set out your own practice after court to the bar. Second avenue we are now going to talk about is lawyering in non-law firms. There are 3 platforms, or more than 3. I just share 3 common platforms that you can do it. Work as an in-house lawyer, serve in a civil service, and also joining a consulting firm. So let's go into lawyering in non-law firm. So this is a second type of career that you can choose. So these are the 3 common areas that you can look at. So let's talk about in-house lawyer. So what's in-house lawyer? An in-house lawyer is where a company that hire a full-time lawyer to work with them full-time and provide legal advice, full spectrum of legal advice to the company. So that we call it in-house lawyer. So typically when a company has legal issue, they have 2 options. One, they can engage a law firm to help them to solve their legal issue, or they can hire an in-house lawyer and work and serve them dedicatedly full-time. So like many big companies, they will have legal department. So people who work in the legal department of a company, which is not a law firm, we call them in-house lawyer. Where you can, where, meaning which company is hiring. Most of the large company, they will have legal department. So like for us, our client, because we also help our client to hire in-house lawyer. So our clients range from MNC, multinational companies, international company, financial institutions, public listed company, oil and gas company, technology company, telco, or even regulatory body, places like Bursa, Bank Negara, SC, you know, this organization, we call it regulatory bodies. They also need quite a number of in-house lawyers. And how to be an in-house lawyer? And just now we know if we want to be a private practitioner, we need to serve our 9-month privilege. But being an in-house lawyer, basically when you have a law degree, you are qualified to be an in-house lawyer. However, the fact is, because company is relying you to give them advice, so usually company would feel more comfortable to hire a lawyer who already has some working experience. But of course, sometimes we do help company to recruit fresh graduate to work as an in-house lawyer because they have entry-level legal position in their legal department. But this sort of opportunity is quite rare. So career path for in-house lawyer, you can look at it when you finish your law degree or you finish your pupillage, either one, you can start working as an in-house lawyer if you want, if you don't like to work in law firm. So you will call legal executive. There are also many names to it, but most commonly they call it legal executive. Then after a few years, you will promote as a senior legal executive. You'll move to assistant manager, manager, or some they call it legal counsel, senior legal manager. And the so-called the head of the legal department, there are many names to it. Some call it head of legal, some call it general counsel, some call it legal director, some call it vice president. So there are many names to the head of the legal department. And when you see the job scope here, these are some typical job scope that in-house lawyer would do. Okay, now we move to another options. It's called civil service. So after your law degree, you can choose to join either law enforcement agency, where you can maybe join the police or even the army or navy and others, where they have a so-called a legal department also. For example, if you join the police, you may apply to be a prosecuting officer. So you will prosecute people on some small offense that don't fall under AG Chamber. The other option is you can consider judicial and legal services sector, where there are many others, but I just highlight the two common one, which is AG Chambers and also in the court. So when you serve in AG Chambers, actually there are 9 divisions there, and you see which division that suit you, because the nature of work are quite different in each division. And so if you choose to join the court, you can be the senior assistant registrar. We call it S. Yeah. So you can assist the judge in managing the hearing, in doing hearing in chamber, this sort of work. Okay, so lawyering in non-law firm. This is the last category that I want to share, which is joining a consulting firm. So in Malaysia market, you have a will and trust firm, whereby the firm's business is provide will writing service, trust administration service, setting out trust. So they need people with legal background. The other type of company is, I call it intellectual property firm, where they help companies to register their trademarks. They help company to register their industrial rights, blah, blah, blah. So you can also, if you like intellectual property, you can consider joining company that which focus on IP work, intellectual property work. And the third ones, I call it new law. This is something very new. In fact, it has been around, it's more popular or common in Western country. New law is basically a company, a consulting company, where they are not a law firm, but what they do is they provide certain solution to the client, which can solve their legal or compliance issues. I'll give you an example. A new law company may go to to a bank, will ask the bank, will talk to the head of legal in the bank, will understand, hey, what is there anything that you want that we can help you to solve? Maybe the bank say, well, we are, we had to manually going through certain standard agreement day by day. It's very tedious work. Can you help us to design a technology and to provide certain lawyer who has the relevant background so that we can outsource the work to you? So new law is where technology is in place. Most of the time, those large new law companies, they'll deploy AI, and they will hire lawyer either as a full-time lawyer to attach with them or as a freelancer model for that project. And they will provide consultancy service. They will approach the issue as a project as a whole, not only coming to so-called deliver legal service, because that is not their main business. Their business is combining technology, project management skill, providing legal talents, legal specialists, and consultancy. So to help certain company to be more efficient to solve their legal issues. So that we call it new law. So if you don't like to work in a traditional law firm, new law is another way. So the last category is non-lawyering but working in the legal related company or legal related industry. So this is some of the job available that I can think of. You can work as a legal editor. You can join like let's say CLJ, these kind of places to work as a legal editor or other role. Or you can choose to be a legal academician. You can choose to be a law lecturer. So you're still related to legal industry, but it's just that you don't do lawyering work, the typical lawyering work. Or you can also join a law firm to take on certain supporting role that is not a typical practicing role, like knowledge management role, even as an IP paralegal, or even as to do business development. If you really like to help the law firms on the business development area, you can join them as a business development, or you can work as a practice manager. Practice manager is someone who look into the practice of the firm and see how to improve the way the law firm practice law. It could improve the workflow. The person could look at the workflow, the delivery system, whether it's effective, it's competitive. So practice manager do a lot of things. The other option is you can work as a compliant profession. So in many highly regulated industry like bank, insurance, even telco, there is a big group of, there's a sizable group of compliance professional. So you can also join them as a compliance officer. Or you could take on another qualification, do your ICSA and become company secretary. Or if you don't like paperwork, you like people, you can join us. Like us, we are legal recruiter. So our job is to help lawyers to get jobs, help law firm, help company to build talent, a strong team, connecting them with the good talents, good legal talents. So if someone don't like to do paperwork, join us. That's legal recruitment. Recently, there's another avenue for people with law degree in this legal technology. So legal technology is where a company who use technology to improve or to make changes in how the legal industry work. For example, practice management software, where the law firm use a software to improve their legal practice. So those companies that provide the software is a legal technology firm. There are many types of legal technology firms in the market and in the world. Yeah. So if you want to know more, we can talk about it later during the Q&A. Okay. Okay. So my conclusion. First, I want to ask you, what do you understand, or what is LLB? You guys may have already obtained your LLB or may be pursuing your LLB. So I know LLB, came from a Latin word, stand for a law degree, but I'm not talking that sort of LLB. I want you to understand, to me, I think LLB is a good lawyer should be well versed with foundation of law. So that's the first L stand for law. Second L to me stand for is language. So imagine you're very good in your law, but you are not able to communicate well. You're not able to advocate well in court, or you're not able to give, when you're not able to communicate well, it's hard for you to give effective legal advice. So the language is very important. So language in speaking or language in writing, drafting. So language skill is highly important. If you do not have the language skill, it's going to be very challenging for you to do well in this industry. So LLB, law, language. B stand for business. Why business coming? Because as a good lawyer, you need to have very good business mindset. You need to have some business acumen. Because when your client, especially if your area of practice is serving company, is serving businesses, when the business people come to you, you can give them very good law principle, and you can speak very well. But if you do not have some business sense, you are not able to provide practical advice to them. Maybe the advice that you provide to them is aligned with the law, is good from the law perspective, but it's not practical because it doesn't make business sense. They are not going to do it. So I saw a lot of successful lawyers. They are the one with, most of the time, they are the one with very good business acumen. They can relate to their client and they can provide practical solution to the client. So this is what LLB to me personally stand for. Law. You need to be good in all these areas if you want to be an outstanding lawyer, if you want to be a successful lawyer. Second advice that I wanted to give to law students is that while you are still doing your undergrad program, take advantage in joining non-academic activities. Take advantage in volunteer yourself to do leadership role, because all these soft skill or leadership skill is going to differentiate you from another law student or law grads. If I'm an employer, 2 law students come to me, both had flying color result, very good result. Who am I going to hire? I'm going to hire someone who has good communication skill, who show leadership potential. And how do I judge that? I'll look at the CV, see whether the person take on any activities apart from just studying. So being book smart is not enough now. You had to nurture your soft skill, your leadership skill. So take this opportunity to take on roles like this to really equip yourself and be more competitive. Third advice I want to give to law students is build network. Build networks because when you come out to work, there are many stakeholders that will come into your daily work. You need to deal with a court officer if you do litigation. Your client could be an in-house lawyer. So these people always come with law background, and they could be people that you met in the university or cross-university activities. So if you manage to have good network, stay connected with your friends, it really will help you in your legal career in future. The last advice I want to give to law students or young lawyer is pick an area of practice that match your personality. Like I say, there are many areas of practice. So I take litigation as an area of practice, dispute resolution. Dispute resolution needs someone who is comfortable with conflict, with facing conflict, because both sides are arguing. So if your personality are not comfortable with handling conflict, you may struggle initially when you get into dispute resolution work. I'm not saying you can't do well. You can do well because I believe we can always learn. Our personality sometimes molded by our environment. But just that if you could identify, if you could understand your own personality, and your area of practice can align with that, that would be perfect. Yeah, so don't get me wrong again. Your area of practice is not decided by your personality. I want to repeat it. Your area of practice is not decided by your personality. It's more decided by your strong desire, your career goal, what you want to build for yourself. It's decided by that, but not decided by your personality. It's just that when you are choosing your area of practice, or you don't know which area of practice that you will like, then I think those area of practice that match your personality, it will be good. So usually, there are 4 types of personality: dominance, influential, steadiness, conscientious. We call DISC. Yeah, so maybe in future we can do a workshop to talk about this. What type of personality will suit what kind of area of practice. So at least you have some awareness as to what you're going into. Yeah. Okay. This is my last slide. Megan, how much of time do we have?
We have time until 4 o'clock, but
now is what time? Sorry, now is what time?
Currently, it's about 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay, I understand. So I just go through some of the slides that I feel is relevant and useful for students. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we have also set up this e-lawyer Toastmaster Club, I think 1 year ago. This is for the purpose of helping lawyers and law students to improve their public speaking skill, communication skill, and also their leadership skill. So Toastmaster Club is an international movement. So we had Toastmaster International. So we are one of the Malaysia chapter. So do join our Toastmaster Club activities. So during Toastmaster Club, we will do table topic speech. We will do prepared speech. And if you join as an ESCO member, then you will be involved in organizing events. And yeah, so feel free to visit our Facebook page and follow us. So because of the MCO, we are having a virtual meeting instead of a face-to-face meeting now. So do join us. We usually have it Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. So we have twice. Our meeting is twice a month. And just take a bit of the time to go through what is e-lawyer. A lot of people ask, hey, e-lawyer, what's E stand for? So I'll say E stand for employment for lawyers, or empowering lawyer through jobs, coaching, and technology, because I'm a certified coach also. So I do coaching for lawyers also. And you're welcome to sign up as a member with us so that you can use our online tools to create a professional look CV. You'll get connected to potential employer when you're looking for a job. And you also can reach out to us if you need any legal advice. And you will receive a latest job alert, and you can apply job through our website. So e-lawyer on another aspect is like job street for lawyers. Yeah. And this is the page that you can go, our website, then you can join. So it's free, totally free to join as a member, as a job seeker. You can stay in touch with us through Facebook and LinkedIn page. And sometimes we do open up for internship for law students. So if you feel like doing internship in a different environment, yeah, do consider us. Okay, I think that's all is my sharing. Yeah, I pass back to you, Megan.
Okay, so we now proceed to the Q&A session. We will begin with some of the questions that were asked initially during the session itself. So you got anyone that are currently participating may also drop their questions down below, as we have plenty of time to answer any and all questions. And so a few of the most cited questions that we'll be posting them to our panelists are, the first question to Mr. Eddie is in regards to the frequent dilemma as to whether rankings of a university in the UK will adversely affect one's employability.
This is a valid question. And when I was a law student, I used to think about this question as well. If I tell you totally no, that's not true. Because during my work, I still find certain law firms, when they started hiring entry-level lawyer, they would look at their pedigree, we call it their background. So what kind of university they come from? Because the type of university would also determine the type of training that you receive. So I would say my answer is if you are able to go for certain more reputable university, that would be very helpful. But there are certain employers do not take this very seriously. To them is the soft skill, other competency apart from academic, apart from your university are more important. So I would say it depends on what law firm that you are applying for. Yeah, usually larger firm or more reputable firm, they would tend to consider the university that you came from. Yeah, so that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. So we move on to the second question coming from Kim Lee. It was asking in regards to, must one have experience in litigation background to get an in-house job?
Not at all. In fact, it's opposite. Opposite in the sense that a litigator, let's say someone have 5 years litigation experience, and someone with 5-year corporate practice experience, when they apply for an in-house job, no doubt this person will have better advantage, because as a corporate lawyer, your training, your skill set is directly transferable or more transferable to an in-house position. So litigation training, litigation background, most of the time is not the main consideration to get an in-house job, unless you are applying for certain specific role. For example, you are applying for a prosecution role, like you want to work in, let's say, Security Commission as a prosecuting officer, then litigation background is a must, it's helpful. Or you are applying for a certain enforcement role, litigation will be useful. Or certain company, they have a very specific portfolio. They want you to work or help in managing their litigation portfolio. Then your litigation background will be useful. Other than that, no. Those general full spectrum of in-house role will prefer practitioner with corporate practice experience rather than litigation experience alone.
Okay, so another question is in regards to whether or not there will be a difference in terms of employability between local and overseas law graduate. So essentially, would firms prefer students from the UK over students from Malaysia?
Well, this is a tough question. I think certain law firms do prefer graduate from overseas university, but may not be a large amount of law firms. It could be very handful kind of law firms do prefer that. The reason, so I was also very curious when I work with them, so I asked them, hey, why do you prefer overseas grads? So the reason they gave is based on their experience of hiring lawyers from different backgrounds. They find that people who study fully in local university, because of the way that we are trained of the education system, we may not be as resourceful, and we may get used to the, they call it spoon feeding kind of model. So when the person come out to work, the training will follow them, so they may not be that resourceful, or they may wait for their bosses to give them answer solutions. Well, this is, like I say, it's not applied across the board. I do see a lot of local grads who are very proactive, who are very resourceful, who are very, yeah. But yeah, so this is a stereotype concept, stereotype mindset, I would say. So I think ultimately, to me, is whether you could demonstrate that you are someone who is resourceful, you are someone who is a problem solver rather than waiting for people to give you answer, and whether you are someone who is able to communicate effectively. Yes, so I think recently local university also see the needs of this sort of training. So I don't know what they had done, but I hope local university would focus on this soft skill part, that let the student have more platform to interact, to communicate, to do public speaking, to train them to be more articulate, and also to be more resourceful. Yes, so I don't know whether I answer your questions, but yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, so moving on, we have a question from Genevieve. How about Sarah in Sarawak? How much is your salary?
Oh, to be honest, do I have the, can I go back to the slide to see whether I have the information? Let me just go back to the slide. Okay, sorry. So let me just share my screen again. Okay. Let's see whether I have the salary report here. Okay, East region. Okay, yeah, sorry, I don't have the data. Yeah, but I would think Sabah and Sarawak salary is quite close to or similar to our southern region of, yeah, or north region kind of range.
Okay, so hopefully this answers your questions. We will move on to Zhu, who asks about what does a law firm look for in a law graduate when hiring one? What qualities of personality do they look for?
Very good questions. I want to share a formula that we use in eLawyer to select the right candidate for our client. So I call it a triangle of 2A and 1C. So first A is about ability, which is about competency. So a law firm want to see whether this student or this fresh lawyer has the right ability to do the job. The ability that I mentioned is similar to the LLB concept, whether the person has good understanding of law, whether the person has good language skill, verbally and written, and whether the person can think critically, think from different angles. So that to me is basic, is ability that the law firm desire to have. The other A is, I call it attitude. Attitude meant the person's character, the person's attitude towards work, towards things, whether the person is humble. Humble person would want to learn and is teachable, and the person can grow. So whether the person has humble attitude, whether the person has honesty, whether the person is helpful or very selfish, very self-centered. So whether the person can work in a team. So all these are attitude that very important. It's a lot of time more important than ability. A law firm rather hire a young lawyer with very good attitude, but maybe slightly fall short of certain ability to train them. Instead of hire someone very good ability, but very bad attitude. Because attitude is hard to train in a short period of time. It's hard to change. Yeah, so 2A, ability, attitude. The last one is called, I use the word C. C is more like career direction. So if if I am a boutique litigation firm and you come to me, I say, what do you want to do in the long term? Or I want to be a corporate lawyer or convincing lawyer. Then no, I'm not going to hire you because your personal career direction and my firm's area of practice are not aligned. So career direction must be aligned with my firm. And also culture fit. C also stands for culture fit. Whether you can fit into our firm's culture. Some firms' culture is they work very long hours. I just point one simple example. They may work very long hours, but when you come for interview, you are telling me, oh, I need to go back at 6 o'clock every day. Then sorry, you don't fit into our work culture. So I will say 2A, 2C, ability, attitude, culture, fit, and career direction fit. Okay, that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. So there is a conventional saying in which law students should always have a reading habit. Since this profession, right from law school to legal practice, involves a lot of reading, is it true? If so, what would you recommend one to read in terms of genre, specific names, or even whether fictional books could be a great addition to one's list?
Okay, very good questions. Yes, if you want to be a good lawyer, reading is a must because lawyer is a knowledge worker. And in order for yourself to outdo some other lawyers, the knowledge is very important. People come to you because you have specific knowledge, specific skill. So all this, most of the time, is through reading. And if you ask me what books, I would say to read. Of course, the law-related book is one thing, but I would want to highlight other type of books that is not law-related books. For example, you can read about financial material or business material, because you're, like I say, LLB, the business part, you are dealing with business people. So if you can read some material related to business, related to financial, that will help you to equip yourself when you give advice. You give a more practical advice, and you're more aware how the market is, and you're more aware how a business person is thinking. So I would say financial related material, business related material. And the third one I would recommend is self-growth material, which I read a lot. Self-growth material could range from time management, could range from communication skill, presentation skill, or recently I'm reading a book called How to be the expert to go to. So you know how to brand yourself, you know how to be an expert in the eye of your client. So I think you should read variety of books, not only reading law books. So that's my, if you ask me for a specific title, usually I'll recommend people, the first book that I read for self-growth many years ago, which I really like it, is called, it's called Success Principle, From Where You Are to Where You Want to Go. Forgot the name of the author. If you Google Success Principle, From Where You Are to Where You Want to Go, yeah, that's a good, that's one of my favorite books. It opened up my interest, it opened up my mindset to self-growth area. So from there onwards, I start reading a lot of self-growth book. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. how can one gain experience in IP area to be able to work in a legal department of a company that deals with vast of IP matters if one does not want to practice in litigation?
Okay, so IP practice had two components. One is the dispute resolution, the IP litigation. The other one is non-litigation, where you can work as an IP lawyer for giving IP-related advice, for drafting agreement or clauses that related to IP matters, and advising your client in trademark registration issue, enforcement of trademarks, copyright issue, and so on and so forth. So you don't need to be a litigation lawyer in order to learn IP-related work. So you can go to an IP boutique firm and join them in their non-litigation practice group to do non-litigation IP work. That is one of the way you can do it. If you say, okay, I don't want to get myself qualified because I don't like to work in law firm, then you can go to IP consulting firm. You can go there to work and learn the IP related work. Then hoping that one day you can go in-house as an IP lawyer, just doing that. But I want to highlight that there are not many IP related portfolio in the in-house. There are not many in Malaysia. I only see quite a handful of specific IP role that required by a company in their legal department.
So our next question asks, is legal assistant and associate the same?
Yes, you're right. It's just the terminology that different firms use in different law firm. Yeah, they're exactly the same.
Okay, so moving on. What is your thought on specializing in one area? Is it prospective for a long-term career, considering like the current circumstances is pretty uncertain?
I will answer this in the context of a long-term career rather than just responding to the current situation. I would say it's better to be a specialist rather than being a generalist. Yeah, I think the answer is obvious because specialists will put you in a more competitive situation. For example, I give a very easy example. Let's say today you have heart problem. Will you go to a GP, a clinic in your neighborhood, or will you go to a large hospital and see a heart surgeon, heart specialist? So you just put yourself into a client's shoes. Let's say a person had divorce issue. Would the person go to any lawyer, or a person would go to a lawyer who specializes in divorce law or family law? So I would say, I would really encourage people to be specialists because that really differentiate yourself than the norm, because the market is very competitive now. So once you are specialized in certain place, in certain area, it doesn't stop you from, build another team to do some other area of work. So yeah. So my answer is being specialist is always good.
Okay, our next question comes from Yong Chang. He asked, may I know how does the post of paralegal differs from others?
When you say different from others, what do you mean? Did he elaborate? Because I don't quite get his questions. Maybe Yong Chan.
Would you like to elaborate further? You can type it out, or if you would like me to allow you to unmute yourself, you can raise your hands. It's okay, we'll move on to the next question first. So the next question comes from Nurul. She asks, what's the substantive difference between the firm sizes and does it really matter? Or is the distinction only in regard to its working experience?
Okay, I personally think that the law firm size is not a critical determining factors. It's more about what kind of law firm will give you the kind of exposure that you want. Because certain type of work only practiced or done by certain size of law firm. So the size of law firm sometimes would determine the type of work that you are doing. So I would say, but of course, you know, usually those bigger company, they will tend to go for more reputable firm. And usually more reputable firm will have certain size in terms of lawyers. So if you join this kind of firm, you will potentially be able to access or do certain type of quality of work. But of course, nowadays, like I said, there are a lot of smaller boutique firms. They are not large. They are very small, maybe 5%, 10%, or even 20%. But they also do equally high level or good quality of work as the larger firm, because those partners used to work in a larger firm. So when they came out to set out their own practice, some big client will follow them, still give them that sort of work. So yeah, so I would say the size may not be the ultimate determining factors. It's more of what kind of quality of work that you are keen to be exposed to, you are keen to learn from. I think that would be a consideration. That would be an important consideration.
Okay, so going back to Yong Chang, he paraphrased his question to, how does this post, being a paralegal, differ from other law-related jobs in terms of job scopes and etc.?
Okay, good. So let's talk about paralegal. There are a few types of paralegal in the market. One, they call it IP paralegal. So like, for example, at the moment, we are also helping an IP boutique law firm to recruit fresh graduate to be an IP paralegal. So IP paralegal, they would do, the type of work that they do is different from the work that the qualified lawyer is doing. For example, qualified lawyer can go to court, but IP paralegal cannot go to court. So what this IP paralegal is doing, they will be helping client to register trademark. So they will involve more extensively into the process, into the operation of the work. Whereas IP lawyer, they will more involve into the legal technical kind of work. So I would say, if I take IP paralegal as an example, paralegal would do certain things that the lawyer would not do, or the lawyer would do certain things that the paralegal would not be able to do. What paralegal can do typically is, because you have a law background, maybe you can help in doing legal research. You can even help, because some law firms, they even ask the paralegal to draft some simple document, then the lawyer will read through. So paralegal, let's say if you are a litigation paralegal, then you involve a lot in preparing certain documents, the litigation documents, rather than heavily involved in drafting, rather than heavily involved in advocacy, rather than heavily involved in advisory. So a lot of advisory, drafting, litigate, advocacy work, consulting work, it was done by qualified lawyer, and paralegal is to assist the qualified lawyer. I hope I answer your questions.
Next question asks, why does Johor has the highest salary for pupil?
Good questions. Actually, towards, I think maybe 3 to 4 years ago, when the Iskandar has started the concept of getting investor to come into Iskandar. So that is actually blooming the market in Iskandar in Johor. That's where a lot of investment coming, a lot of businesses coming, try to set up a place in Iskandar. And because of that, the requirement of legal service is also increasing. So actually Johor is, especially JB, I'm talking about JB. JB is a very unique position in terms of legal recruitment market, where because they are so close to Singapore, so a lot of JB person will work in Singapore, or they will come to KL, bigger city. So I would say there's a lack of lawyers in JB at that point of time. So that push up the salary. So some of our JB clients asking us whether we can get some lawyer from KL to work in JB. From that onwards, I think the market salary allowances have pushed up. So when I say Johor, I want to be specific. It's meant for JB, the allowances that I have. Of course, in a smaller area in Johor, like Batu Pahat, Kluang, Muar, I think the allowances is not as high as those in JB.
Okay. Next question is asking, how important is fluency in Mandarin and BM in the legal field?
Okay, good questions. I think if you are doing litigation, your BM should be very good. Your BM must be good because you may need to argue cases in BM in court, especially lower court. And your pleading, your court paper, you will need to have a BM version. So in terms of drafting the court paper pleadings, you need to draft in BM and English, both versions. But if you are practicing purely corporate law, the chances of you using BM may not be as often as a litigation lawyer. Only when you deal with government officers, then you may have letter correspondence in BM. Most of the businesses in Malaysia still rely heavily in using English. As for Mandarin, it also depends on the area of practice and the clientele that the company have. For example, because of the One Belt, One Road initiative, there are more and more Chinese investors come to this region to invest. So because of that, a lot of law firms starting to set up their China desk, where they hire those lawyers, or they put those lawyers with Chinese Mandarin ability to support China desk, to support Chinese clientele. So I would say having good command of language in different languages is definitely an advantage. Yeah, and Mandarin is a rising demand, not only in law firm. Let's say in in-house, I also have client come and tell me, hey, I prefer lawyer who had Mandarin skill, because our company also have businesses in China or Hong Kong or Taiwan, those Mandarin speaking country. Can you get me a lawyer with Mandarin skill so that they can support effectively the business in that region? So I would say Mandarin skill becoming more and more demanding because of the trend, of the current trend.
Next question is asking, a lot of in-house or legal counsel jobs require a few years of work experience as a lawyer. What if I don't have the years of experience as a lawyer but wish to go in-house for long term? How can I overcome this lack of experience?
Okay, it's a very good question and very practical, because I do see people are struggling with this. I think if a person cannot practice, let's say he choose not to practice or cannot practice, then he can either choose to work as a paralegal in a law firm after accumulating certain relevant experience or certain years experience, then he could apply to in-house. So in that sense, you don't go in-house with zero experience. You still have some basic paralegal experience in law firm. That's one strategy you can use. Second way you can do it is, because there's, like I said, there are some job opening that welcome entry-level lawyer without any experience. So if you see in-house hiring people without any legal experience, then that is also a good option for you to go in to build your experience there. Or you can, third way is you can choose to work in certain consulting firm that relate to legal industry. Then only after that you move as an in-house lawyer. So there are few ways you can build up your relevant experience before going in-house.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. Second question asks, litigation lawyer or in-house lawyer, which one has a higher salary on an average?
There is no standard answer, because, yeah, let me just make the question even broader. Private practitioner and in-house lawyer, who make more money or who have higher salary? I'll say it totally depends. Because I do see some litigation lawyer or practitioner, private practitioner, maybe 10 years they're earning certain amount of salary. But 10 years in-house lawyer are earning much higher, or vice versa. So but if you ask me about entry-level salary, then I can tell you the so-called standard answer. Entry-level, of course, if you join a reputable firm or larger firm, your entry-level salary normally is higher than entry-level salary as an in-house lawyer. Yes, that one I can give you some standard answer. But if you say you have worked a few years in law firm and this person also worked the same amount of year in in-house, who are having a better salary, it really depends what kind of in-house you join, how you join. Are you joining from private practice? You know, so there is no standard answer to that.
Okay, so this question are for those that didn't take SPM-BM. How should they proceed about litigation with this issue of being weaker in the language of PM?
So I assume the person had passed their July paper, because if their SPN is not passed, they have to do a July paper. Or yeah, so I assume they have passed their July paper, they are qualified, and they want to do litigation. You just need to learn, and you can learn. You can still, you still had chance to learn. I just share my experience. My SPM PM wasn't a credit, so I didn't get a credit. I get a pass, but I don't get a credit. So during my pupillage, I worked very hard on my language, because that time I had to sit for oral exam. There's one representative from judiciary, one from law school, I think one from AG, or one from bar, I forgot already. So they will sit there and interview me, having a BN conversation with me, ask me to translate a paragraph on the spot. So because of me putting effort and work hard, yeah, I passed my BN oral test. So I would say, if you know that your BM is not as strong, you can just learn. There's no one stop you from learning, even though how, despite your SPN, BM result, no one stop you from learning.
If one doesn't take the SPM, BM, they can consider the language exam by the bar, right? By Malaysia Bar Council.
I don't know the latest requirement, but at my time, you can go for, they call it July paper. July paper is actually a SPM BN subject. So you can take that exam. Yes, then you can, if you pass, then you can do your CLP, or you can be admitted to bar. And you can do a CLP, yeah.
Okay. Next question asks, what if I want to change from an in-house lawyer to litigation? Do I have to go through the pupillage?
Yes, if you are not called to the bar, you will need to go through pupillage and called to the bar, then become a litigation lawyer. Yes.
Another question asks, often, what makes a person to choose to be an in-house lawyer?
Oh, okay. Interesting questions. There are many reasons. Let me name you few common reasons. One could be they want a change of lifestyle. Because typically, if you work in a larger law firm or corporate law firm, your work hour is very, very long, typically. So sometimes when person has young family, so they want to change the lifestyle, they don't want to constantly work in a very long hour. So they will opt to go to work as an in-house lawyer, because you supposedly get more work-life balance there, but not all the in-house jobs are like that. Okay, but most of the in-house job will give you a more stable working hour. Another reason that I see many wanted to quit practice and go in-house is they want to be exposed to different working environment and exposed to learn different things. For example, in some of the in-house, you will learn more about commercial aspect of a deal. So you can see them from the commercial side, not only from the legal side. Because when you work in a law firm, when a problem comes to you, they will ask you mainly about legal solution. But if you work in-house, you will have more chance to interact with the internal people, with the business people. Then you can see you can have exposure from the beginning of the project when they try to, so there is more commercial exposure in the in-house environment. And the last one is some people going out because they just don't like the working culture in law firm. So they rather go to another environment. So these are some common reasons that people come to us when they want to change house.
Okay, so another question is a more personal question towards Mr. Eddie Law is, how did you identify your passion to study law? What ignited the interest and how did you become firm on this path?
I don't know whether you're asking the right question, people, because you can see I started law, then now I'm not doing law. But anyway, to answer the questions, for me, when I decided to do law, there are a few reasons. One of it is when I was, I think 16 years old, one day my dad came to me. My dad is a chef. So he used to do cooking. So he said, what do you want to be after you finish your Form 5? So I say, I'm not too sure. Then he say, why not? Either you can become an accountant, because I have a relative in a small town that he's an accountant. So my dad always went to his office and see, wow, his office full with accounting files, all this. So he said, oh, accountant can make a good income. Then I got another uncle who is a lawyer. He said, oh, a lawyer also can make good income. If not, you become like me. You take over my small business, become a chef. So at that point of time, I was thinking, I don't want to be a chef. Very labor-intensive work. I had to cook, very hot, very sweaty. I don't think I want to be a chef. And my mathematics is not good, so I don't want to be an accountant. Yeah, lawyer could be, because I also watch a lot of lawyer movie. So I thought, yeah, maybe I want to be a lawyer. Actually, I was thinking of being a doctor, but because I was in the art stream, so I can't go to science stream. So I think it's hard to be a doctor. So that is one of the thought that I have at that point of time why I want to be a lawyer. It's just because of my parents' influence. But of course, when I started doing law, I understand more about the law. Then I think that law is actually something that can help people and also can help myself. So because with the knowledge of law, when you're a lawyer, you can help a lot of people to solve their legal problems, or we call like to uphold justice. So that's another driven for me also, that I think law will empower me to help people who are in need. So I would say because of the social status of a lawyer, to be very honest, and because of the empowerment that I get being a lawyer, that I can empower people. Yeah. And because of the influence of the drama that I watch. So these are the things made me decide to go into law back then. But now, of course, if given a choice, because I still can go back to practice anytime. If given a choice, I go back to practice, the motivation to go back and the reason of doing it is totally different from that time. Yeah. So back to you, Megan.
Okay, so a question asks, I'm often advised, considering my knack in research and analytical skills, that I should get a PhD and become a journal writer. What if I do not want to be a journal writer, as I do have skills in speaking as well? What other ventures are there to be recommended for a person who wants a career dominant in research, but can still voice out, not just on paper?
So isn't a lawyer be a very good choice? Because being a lawyer, you are required to do a lot of research on the point of law. And at the same time, you provide consultancy service. If you don't like to go to court, don't like to do advocacy, that's fine. But you can do one-to-one consultancy with your client, because you say you also like to talk, you also like to interact with people. I would say then law is one of the good choice, which allow you the opportunity to do research, to write, and also at the same time allow you to talk. I don't know whether that answer the questions.
What if the research is in regards to changes to the law, writing about global issues? What would you recommend instead?
Meaning the area that you want to go in is not area of legal issues. Then there are many things you can do. You can work as an academia. You can work as a lecturer in the topics that you like to go in deeper. So when you work as an academia, you need to conduct research. You need to have a lot of thinking about the subject that you are interested in, passionate in. Then at the same time, you go to class, you can lecture, you can talk to the student. And the best thing is, when you talk to people, people don't fight back. But a lawyer, you go to court, you talk to your opponent, they'll fight back. So being a lecturer, you go to your lecture room, you talk, no one will fight back. Isn't that good?
Yep. Thank you so much. So now this is a question from Tommy Lim. He asks, based on your experience as a legal recruiter, when a law graduate approached you by saying, I have no idea what I should do next, what are fundamental questions that you will ask or guide this kind of candidate?
If a law graduate come to me, is it?
Yes.
Or the person has not done law. So which stage?
Has done law, but is not aware of like their next step.
Then usually I will have the conversation at a deep level. I will ask them to think about their passion. What really excites them? What really keeps them going? So their passions. So usually I will ask a powerful questions to help the person to create awareness about their passion. I will say, if today money is not an issue or no one is paying you, but you still like to do the thing to help people, what will you do? So that's sort of powerful question you can ask yourself. That if one day money is not an issue, what I would still like to do to help people? That sort of line of question will help you to raise your awareness as to what is your passion. So once you identify your passion, then I will help to explore with the person to develop a career strategy to achieve what they want at the end. So I'll start with the passion, because that's very important. Without that, it's hard. But the person will say, I don't know my passion. I don't know what to do. That's why I come and see you. So I ask the powerful question. I'll say, if money is not a concern, what you want to do to help people? Yeah, you don't come and tell me I like to travel the world, all this. All the self-enjoyment benefit thing is not going to make a career. So I would say, what would you do if money is not an issue? What would you do to help people? That could help you to find out your passion.
Okay, next question is from Alicia Ang. Alicia asks, is it difficult to transition from litigation to corporate, and what kind of changes I can expect? Thank you.
Yes, Alicia, you're asking a very good question because I do have candidates come to me where they already practiced few years as a litigation lawyer. So either they want to switch to corporate practice in law firm, or they want to switch to be an in-house lawyer. So let me tell you honestly, it's quite challenging to switch. And the challenges will be more and more, higher and higher challenges when you are more and more senior. Because you imagine if I'm an employer, a 3-year litigation lawyer come to me, say they want to switch to corporate practice, but the person do not have corporate practice. And I have a person, first-year lawyer come to me, say, I want to go into corporate practice. And this 3-year lawyer could be earning much more than the first-year lawyer. And both do not have corporate practice experience. So logically, I would choose to train and invest someone who coming in a lower salary. So I would say if you want to change, the earlier you do it, the better for you. Ideally, before 3 years, if you can. But what if you are already more than 3 years experience, have more than 3 years experience, and you want to switch from litigation to corporate, either to corporate or to in-house? I do see very handful lawyer successfully switch. So they can either, they usually switch in their current firm because they know the boss. So they will just talk to the boss, say, hey, can I switch to corporate department? Because the boss think that it's worth to recommend this lawyer to another partner, then the person has switched successfully. The other scenario is the person moved to another law firm and go into corporate practice, and the person got hired because I think the person is really good, very good credentials, speak very well, all this, and the law firm need is in a desperate need of people. Yeah. So the other strategic technique is when you are doing litigation, you can try to see whether you can do more commercial litigation or corporate litigation so that you gain some exposure into commercial or corporate work. And you have exposure to review different agreements, commercial agreements, when you're practicing litigation. Although you are not involved in drafting or negotiating an agreement, but at least you get exposure in reviewing corporate or commercial agreements. So that also put you in a better position when you apply for in-house or corporate practice. Yeah. Back to you, Megan.
Okay, so someone asked, what qualification do we need to equip ourselves to be able to work overseas? For example, if I want to work in Australia, do we need to be admitted to Australian bar? And what are certain skills that I should have?
Okay, so I would say to work overseas, the easier transferable skill could be corporate skill, because corporate commercial work are predominantly quite similar in different countries. So that's one thing. Second consideration is you need to check whether what sort of qualification you need to work in that country. Australia, I met some Malaysian lawyer who practice there. they went through a conversion exam. They have a admission bar. They have a bar exam. So you need to you need to pass the exam in order to be qualified to work there in a law firm. However, if you were to work in the in-house environment, not a law firm, then I think there is no legal requirement of getting conversion. And some country, for example, China, when you go there, even though you did not do any conversion test, but they can hire you as a foreign lawyer to work in a law firm to advise us on foreign law. So it really depends on what country that you go to. And the avenue, there are many avenues. Either you can go there as an in-house lawyer where you do not need any conversion test. But of course, the marketability is a consideration because usually they will prefer people who have knowledge or experience in local law. Yes, so I would say the admission requirement, it depends on country, but there are avenues for you to work maybe as even as a paralegal, as a foreign lawyer, or some people work as a legal manager in the law firm. Yeah, so there are many avenues actually.
Okay. Next question asks, which practice areas are highly in demand by the legal market?
At this moment is employment and maybe insolvency law, debt restructuring, debt recovery at this market. But if you say a normal market, I would say different area of law has its own demand. But there is one area of law, the demand would just go higher and higher. And regardless of the economy, regardless of other factor, which is family law. Because sadly to say that more and more divorce cases, divorce happening in our society. So the divorce rate is always at the rise. So family law is always in demand because anyone who wants a divorce will need to engage a lawyer. So, but if you say what can set you apart from other lawyers, I'll come back to the specialized niche area. So if you are so good in a certain area, even though very niche, people still come after you.
Okay. Nantini asked, hi, I would like to ask, how do one become an arbitrator? How about the career path of becoming an arbitrator at AIAC?
Okay, I'm not very familiar, but I just share what I see. I see usually lawyer become arbitrator by getting certified. I think they went through a course called arbitration course. So they went through a course, they get themselves certified. And I think they also need to have, I don't know whether they need to have certain years of experience, this one I'm not sure. Yes. So if you ask me the career path, arbitrator is only as and when people has arbitration dispute, then they will appoint one of the arbitrator in the panel list of the arbitration center. So that is how it works. So many lawyers, they will still remain practice, but at the same time, they get themselves certified or qualified as an arbitrator, so they can provide two services. They can one day, act as a lawyer in an arbitration suit, or they could be, they may be appointed as an arbitrator also. So usually people will do it concurrently with another work. Yeah. Back to you, Megan.
Another question asks, does eLawyer has any statistics or survey about how the 4 DISC personalities matches up with different career choices in law industry?
The DISC thing is, if you ask me statistic, no. To be honest, I don't have statistic like, oh, you are a high D person and so you're very successful in litigation. So I don't have that sort of survey done or statistic. Yeah, I don't have, but what I always do is I can share with the person what sort of personality is there, and the person will go through a personality test, the DISC test. So with the DISC test, I can see which personality that the person belongs to. Then I will usually have a one-to-one conversation with the person, what kind of area that you're interested to go in. Then I'll tell him, oh, if you want to go in this area, you should have this personality, because this personality would meet this sort of area of practice. Like I say, for example, being a litigation lawyer, what required from a litigation or lawyer, apart from technical skill, the personality side is that person is comfortable or okay with dispute or with conflict situation. And the person is very result oriented, because when go to court, your purpose is to win. So you need to be highly result oriented. And you need to be affirmative. When you go to court, you need to talk in a very affirmative way. So I can see a lot of good litigator, very successful one. Their personality are a high D person, very dominant, high D. So they make very affirmative statement in court. Of course, I'm not saying if your personality is not high D, you won't make affirmative statement in court. It's not like that, but it's just so natural, come from them. So be a litigator, it's good that you are high D, you have your D is not so low, and your I, because I part is where you are able to convince people, you are very articulate, and you like to persuade people. Yeah. So I don't have statistic, but yeah, I always share just, yeah, it's more like sharing basis.
Okay, we will entertain one last question coming from the question of whether or not is it true that if we get first class degree, we can straight away go to AG chamber?
I don't know the recent requirement of AG chamber, but what I know how AG chamber used to practice is they will go to the university and they will interview people who are keen to join them, and they will interview those people with good result. So you say first class straight away be selected by AG chamber, I doubt so. I doubt so. I think there will be an interview process in between to decide whether they want to offer you a job. But I may be wrong, so please do check with AG chamber, see what's their latest practice.
Okay, so the time has elapsed for the Q&A session. We shall return the floor back to our speaker, who will now close the presentation. So back to you, Mr. Ali.
Okay, Megan, thank you so much for having me. And for those who stayed until now, I'll say thank you so much for joining us. I hope my insight and sharing would help you as a law student to know or to create awareness as to what sort of area of practice, what sort of law firm to choose for. And I hope my sharing will help you to see Actually, there are more than one career track, which is working in law firm as a law student. And like I say in my conclusion, remember that knowing law is only a small part. It's only one part of the element that make you a good lawyer. Knowing law is only one part of the elements that make you a good lawyer. You need language skill. You need business sense. That's why we call LLB, law, language, business. And at the end, what really important for you to be successful in your career is not your ability alone. It's your attitude. It's your attitude to remain humble so that you open to learn, you are more teachable, so that when you're more open to learn, when you're more teachable, you will accumulate more knowledge and you can grow. So working attitude is the most important thing that an employer looking at when hiring a person. So be more aware about that also. And feel free to register as our member so that you can use our tools to build up a professional CV. And feel free to visit our eLawyer Toastmaster Club meeting. So I think our next meeting should be this Saturday, 2 p.m. Join our virtual meeting. And during the meeting, you will have a very interesting and conducive environment to learn about public speaking, to learn about communication skill. And that is really will help you in your career. That's all. Thank you, ALSA, for hosting this.
So to end, my name is Megan, and on behalf of ALSA Malaysia and eLawyer, we would like to thank you all for joining us today in ALSA Malaysia Legal Webinar Episode 2. Please take a moment to respond to our survey. The link will automatically be generated after you leave the webinar. We appreciate you spending your time with us. We hope to see you in our next webinar series that will be coming your way soon enough. Stay safe, remain home, leave it up to ALSA Malaysia to keep you entertained. A great thank you and goodbye, everyone.
Bye.